Hello everyone. Hope you are staying safe at your homes. All of you are doing well. Okay. So this is the third topic for today, that is Mendeleev's periodic table. Before going into Mendeleev's periodic table, we will discuss about the homework which I had given you yesterday. I had given you 3 questions about Dobereiner's law of triads, Newland's law of octaves, then the demerits, and to identify the Dobereiner's triads, okay, from the textbook. So from the textbook, the last question which I had given, out of those, okay, page number 16, out of those, the first one is not a triad. The first one, that is magnesium, calcium, strontium, it is not a triad. The other two are triads. That is the answer. The first one is not a triad. The other two are triads. You may see that they are having approximate values. Okay, not the exact value. Might not be getting the exact value, but a difference of pointwise difference or one difference of 1 could be accepted. Okay, so the answers for the other questions you have to refer from the notebook itself or from the textbook. Okay, hope you have understood about the homework. If you are having any doubt, you may ask. Okay, so we may move on to today's topic, that is Mendeleev's periodic table. So Dobereiner and Newland, they studied about the elements and their physical and chemical properties like melting point, boiling point, etc., etc., and they arranged them into a particular order. That means they arranged them in the increasing order of atomic mass. So that property was accepted by Mendeleev also. At the time of Mendeleev, about 63 elements were known. Those 63 elements, he arranged them in the increasing order of atomic mass. What is atomic mass? It is the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus. So Mendeleev arranged the elements in the increasing order of atomic masses. His table is a very much accepted table till today also. Now, based on the study of the elements, he put forward a law which is called as Mendeleev's periodic law. What is Mendeleev's periodic law? It states that properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. Properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. Now, what do you mean by properties of elements? Properties of their elements means it could be physical properties, it could be chemical properties. Physical properties like melting point, boiling point, molecular formula of hydrides, oxides, etc. And its chemical properties also. Now, properties of elements are periodic functions. Periodic means which are repeated after particular intervals. Repeated after particular intervals. So, properties of elements are repeated after particular intervals. So, what had Newland told? Newland had told that every 8th element had properties similar to that of the first. Okay, now this was a little bit similar to Newland's law of octaves, that means Mendeleev's periodic table. How much it is similar? It is not very much similar because at his time only less elements were known, and by the time of Mendeleev about 63 elements were known, and afterwards also many elements were discovered. Okay, so Mendeleev put forward a law which is called as Mendeleev's periodic law. This is a 2-mark question. Properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. This is Mendeleev's periodic law. So, according to Mendeleev's periodic law, the elements were arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses. Now, I will explain the Mendeleev's periodic table with the help of the table which is shown in the textbook. Okay. Okay, so this is the table. You may see they were arranged in columns. These columns are called as groups, and these horizontal rows were called as periods. So vertical columns were called as groups and horizontal rows were called as periods. So how many groups were there? There were 8 groups. Okay, there were 8 groups. So he arranged the elements into groups and periods. The vertical columns are called as groups. The horizontal lines are called as periods. You may see in this periodic table there are some question marks here, here and here. There are some question marks. Those question marks were put for elements which were not known at that time. At the time of Mendeleev, all the elements were not known. But he predicted that there might be some elements which are not discovered yet but might fit into those positions. He gave the atomic masses also and predicted the properties also of those elements. What were those elements named as? They were named as Ika-boron, Ika-silicon, okay, Ika-boron, Ika-aluminium and Ika-silicon. Understood? We will see what they were converted into, what their names were converted into in the next lecture, okay, or the next part of the lecture. So these were the question marks. So the groups and periods and question marks. The groups, periods and the question mark. Hope you have noted this property of the periodic table. Now the next property of the periodic table is the general formula for hydrides and oxides. At the top you may see they have given R2O, RO, R2O3 and so on. These were the general formula of oxides, and here they have given RH3, okay, which is a general formula for hydride, oxides and hydrides. R stands for any element which are in this table. R stands for any element which is in this table, in that group, okay. So hope you have understood the properties of arrangement, the properties of Mendeleev's periodic table. So they were arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses. About 63 elements were known. They were arranged in the according to the periodicity, according to the properties of periodicity, physical properties and chemical properties of the elements which were known at that time. He put forward the law, that is Mendeleev's periodic law, which is properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. He classified the elements into groups and periods. He had given some question marks though for the elements which were not discovered at that time. The general formula of hydrides and oxides of those elements which were discovered at his time were also given. Hope you have understood. Okay, we may move on to the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. The first merit of Mendeleev's periodic table was that the atomic masses were revised. Now when the scientists started classification of elements, to accommodate the elements into different groups, into periods, what did they do? They manipulated the atomic masses. So what did Mendeleev do? He revised the atomic masses. The correct atomic masses were derived and he arranged them according to the correct atomic masses. Okay. So the atomic masses of elements were revised. The second merit was that he left vacant places inside the table, in the periodic table. Just now in the periodic table we had seen there were question marks. What were those question marks? Those question marks were vacant places. So for what did he leave those vacant places? He predicted that there might be some elements which has to be discovered yet. Okay, he gave them name also. What were the names given? He named it as Ika boron, which was at position 44 in the periodic table. Ika aluminium, which was at position 68 in the periodic table. Ika silicon, which is at position 72. You may observe, you may compare this in your textbook. You may see at these positions they have given question marks at 44, 68 and 72. So Ika boron is at 44, Ika aluminium is at 68 and Ika silicon was at 72. Now these were the names which were given by Mendeleev. Later it was discovered, those elements were discovered and they were given different names. What were the name given? The name given for Ika boron was scandium, for Ika aluminium is gallium and Ika silicon is germanium. Okay, so these were the elements which he had predicted and which was found to be correct. There is a table of Ika aluminium and gallium given in the textbook, the comparison of the properties which he had predicted and what are the properties exactly. Okay, you may see the table, you may refer to the table in your textbook. You may see that the atomic mass was predicted to be 68 and the exact atomic mass of gallium is taken as 69.7. The density was predicted to be 5.9 and the exact density is 5.94. The melting point, he predicted that the melting point will be low and the exact melting point is about 30.2. It is comparatively low. Our normal room temperature is about 37. Okay, in summer times. Okay, formula of chloride, he told that it will be ECl3 and it is GaCl3. The exact molecular formula of chloride is GaCl3. The formula of oxide, he told that it will be E2O3 and the exact formula is Ga2O3. The nature of the oxide is amphoteric oxide. He predicted that it will be an amphoteric oxide and it is an amphoteric oxide. Gallium oxide is an amphoteric oxide. What do you mean by amphoteric oxide? The oxide which reacts with both acids and bases. It is said to be an amphoteric oxide. I repeat, amphoteric oxide is an oxide which reacts with both acids and bases. So hope you have understood the second property, second merit of Mendeleev's periodic table. He left vacant spaces and he predicted the names and properties of the elements which would be discovered later. He named them as Ika boron, Ika aluminium and Ika silicon. Later these elements were discovered and whatever he predicted was found to be correct. Now Ika boron is named as scandium, Ika aluminium is named as gallium, Ika silicon is named as germanium. This is match the following question which you will be getting. Okay, match the following question. It is very important for you to mark this or write this in your notebook and keep. Now the third merit was that there was no place for noble gases. Okay, at the time of Mendeleev, nothing was known about noble gases. What are noble gases exactly? Noble gases are the gases which are present in the last group. That means helium, neon, argon, xenon. These are all noble gases. Noble gases means these gases generally do not react with any other elements. They are said to be noble gases. Actually, it is placed in the modern periodic table. It is placed towards the end, that is in the last group. Okay. Now those noble gases were not known at his period, at the time of Mendeleev. Okay. Later it was discovered and it was seen that they could be arranged as a separate group towards one end of the periodic table. Of which periodic table? Mendelev's periodic table. So no place for noble gases, but when discovered they were placed in a separate group. Hope you have understood the merits of Mendelev's periodic table. Atomic masses were revised, there were vacant places left, and the properties were predicted, which was found to be correct later. There was no place for noble gases because noble gases were not known at its time, but afterwards when it was discovered, they were placed in a separate group. Okay, hope you have understood. You may copy it. The next topic is demerits of Mendelev's periodic table. So we have discussed the merits. Along with merits, there are demerits also. Merits of Mendelev's periodic table, it is a 2-mark question. Demerits of Mendelev's periodic table is a 3-mark question, which is very, very frequently asked. Okay, so demerits of Mendelev's periodic table. The first demerit was that whether to place cobalt or nickel first, as they have the same atomic mass. You may refer to Mendelev's periodic table, which is there in the textbook. Towards the right side of the periodic table, that is the last group, 8th group, there is cobalt and nickel which are placed. You may see their atomic numbers. Their atomic numbers are the same. Okay, so when the elements were arranged, whether to place cobalt first or to place nickel first. Okay, that was the question which Mendeleev was not able to answer, but he had given an answer for that. Okay, so whether to place cobalt or nickel first, as they had the same atomic mass. This was the first demerit. Second demerit was the position of isotopes. Now, okay, so what are isotopes? Isotopes are different forms of the same element having same atomic number but different atomic mass number. Okay, so what are isotopes? Isotopes are elements having the same atomic number but different atomic mass number. Okay, so how will you arrange those elements in your periodic table? That was the question. Why? Because the periodic table is in the increasing order of atomic mass. Okay, so if there are isotopes, for example H1, this is the atomic number and this is the atomic mass number. Okay, this is the atomic mass number, H11, H12 and H13. These are the 3 isotopes of hydrogen. In this case, you may see the atomic number is the same, but the atomic mass numbers are different. But the periodic table is in the increasing order of atomic masses. So, how will you arrange them? Whether to write this one first or this one first? That was the problem. Okay, how will you arrange the isotopes? Actually, isotopes were not known at his time, but later when they were discovered, they found it difficult. Scientists found it difficult to arrange the isotopes. That was the second demerit. The third demerit was increasing in the atomic mass was not uniform. That means, when consider there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10. What is the difference between 2 and 1? It is 1. What is the difference between 2 and 3? It is 1. 3 and 4, 1. 5 and 6, 1. 7 and 8, 1. That means the difference between 2 consecutive numbers is 1. Understood? But when the elements were arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses, those increase in the values were not uniform. That means, consider if the first one is 29.3. Okay, if it is increasing by 1, then it will be 30.3. The next one will be 31.3 and so on if it is increasing by 1. But that increase, it was not uniform. That means the first one increased by 0.5, the next one increased by 0.6 and so on. Okay, it is an example. So, the increasing atomic mass was not uniform. Now the fourth demerit was position of hydrogen. Hydrogen is a special element exactly. So hydrogen showed resemblance with alkali metals. Now what are alkali metals? They are elements in the first group. Okay, according to the modern periodic table, the elements in the first group are called as alkali metals. Now the hydrogen shows resemblance. Okay, it resembles both alkali metal and halogens. Now alkali metals are placed towards the left and halogens are placed towards the right in the modern periodic table. Now to place hydrogen whether with alkali metals or with halogens, that was the question. Okay, now in this table, these are the tables which are given in the textbook. Okay, I will explain these tables. You may see compounds of hydrogen, compounds of sodium. Sodium is an element which is present in first group, that is, it is an alkali metal. Okay, compounds of hydrogen. Hydrogen combines with chlorine, okay, to form HCl. Sodium also combines with chlorine to form NaCl. See the similarity in their molecular formulas. Hydrogen combines with oxygen to form H2O. Na also combines with oxygen to form Na2O. See the similarity in their molecular formula. Hydrogen combines with sulfur to form H2S. Sodium also combines with sulfur to form Na2S. Okay, so you may see the molecular formulas are more or less the same. Understood? So they are showing similarities. That means hydrogen shows similarities with sodium. Okay, sodium is an alkali metal. Now we will see the next table. Okay, this is the element hydrogen. What is the molecular formula of hydrogen gas? It is H2. What is the molecular formula of chlorine gas? It is Cl2. Chlorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine. These are halogens. They are present in the modern periodic table in the 17th group or 7th A group. Okay, so these are halogens. Chlorine is a halogen. Hydrogen's molecular formula is H2. It is a molecule. It is a gas. Cl2. It is a molecule. It is a gas. See the similarity in their molecular formulas. Compounds with metals. Okay, compounds with metals. Hydrogen combined with metal. Sodium is a metal. Hydrogen combined with metal to form NaH. Chlorine also combined with a metal to form NaCl. Okay, see the similarity in their molecular formulas. Compound with non-metals. Hydrogen combines with carbon to form CH4 and Cl also combines with carbon to form CCl4. See the similarity in their molecular formulas. So that means hydrogen shows resemblance with alkali metals. Hydrogen shows resemblance with halogens also. Okay, so whether to place hydrogen in the first group or in the 7th group along with halogens, that was the question. Okay, so these were the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. The first one, whether to place cobalt or nickel first, as they have the same atomic mass. Position of isotopes. What are isotopes? Isotopes are elements with the same atomic number but different atomic mass number. Okay, and the periodic table is according to the increasing order of atomic mass numbers. So if there are two isotopes, the two different positions should be given. One should be for this, the other should be for this. So it will become more complicated. Okay, so where could the positions of isotopes be? Now the next is increasing atomic mass was not uniform. Okay, the atomic masses were not increasing by the same value. Fourth one was position of hydrogen. The hydrogen showed resemblance with the alkali metals also. It showed resemblance with the halogens also. So to place, whether to place hydrogen in the first group or along with halogens, that was the question. So these were the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. A very important question. You may copy it. Now the homework for today. The first question is, state Mendeleev's periodic law. I repeat, state Mendeleev's periodic law. State Mendeleev's periodic law. The second question is, explain the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Explain the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Explain the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Third question is, explain the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Explain the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Now the fourth question is the question which is there in textbook page number 20. Use your brain power. You have to write the molecular formula of oxides and the molecular formula of hydrides. I have given you examples here. The first one is, write the molecular formula of oxides. The first one is sodium. Now how to do it? You have to take the table on page number 18 and search for sodium. You may see sodium is present in group 1. Sodium is present in group 1. At the top they have given the general formulas, that is R2O. Now in the table the number 2 is written at the top, but now they have changed the pattern of writing. Now the number is written below. Okay, so it becomes Na2O. As it is R2O, it is Na2O. R is a common term which they have used. Okay, so instead of R, you have to put that particular element, symbol of that particular element. The next is Si. You may see Si is in group 4. You may see Si is in group 4. Okay, so for Si group 4, what is the general formula? It is RO2. So the formula is SiO2. Hope you have understood. These are the two examples. So what you have to do? You have to find out the element is in which group and see what the general formula is, and you have to just substitute. Okay. Now the next question is to find out the hydrides. Okay, they have given the general formula of hydrides also there. You may see for C, that is carbon. Carbon is in group 4. The first element you may see C is equal to 12. Okay, C is equal to 12. So what is the general formula for hydride? Hydride is H. Okay, oxide is O. So RH4. Okay, it is RH4. So it is written as CH4. Next is sulfur. Sulfur, that is S. You may see it is in which group? It is in group 6. Okay, it is in group 6. What is the general formula? The general formula is RH2. So it is SH2. But generally we write it as H2S. You may write the answer according to the general formula which is given, okay, in Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, you won't get it wrong. Now BRH, okay, BR and H. You may see BR is in which group? It is in group 7. What is the general formula? It is RH. Okay, so RH, so it is BRH. Okay, hope you have understood how to write the general formulas of oxides and general formula of hydrides. Okay, so this is the homework for today. Okay, hope you are understanding. If you're having any doubts, you may ask. Okay, so we have finished with 3 topics. The first one is Dobrynin's law of triads, Newland's law of octaves, and Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, if you're having any doubt, please ask. Thank you.